Which team is this Auburn basketball team looking forward to facing the most in the SEC tournament? We talk with SEC champion Zep Jasper. And then for today's Charlie Tuesday, we talk about who could possibly be starting next year for football on the offensive line. All that and more on today's Locked On Auburn.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. And now here on Locked On Auburn, we are joined by SEC champion Zep Jasper. I've been waiting all year to introduce you that way, but congratulations. I imagine Saturday was a pretty cool day for you guys.
Oh, yeah, it was a pretty cool day. You know, it was one accomplishment out of our goal. Like I always say, when I always get on here, we got 3 goals to get. One of them is SEC regular season championship. The second one is to win the SEC tournament. And the third one is the big dance, the big dog, March Madness. And I always been wanting to get introduced here as a champion, just one champion.
Sure. Right.
So, you know, it's pretty exciting just to get announced to be a champion. You know, when we was counted out, we was number 5. I went and looked at, you know, preseason rankings. As soon as we won, I looked at it as a motivation key. Now it's like we the top dogs. So It's like now we are the motivation. We're motivation. And it's like everybody want to beat us now.
No, there's no question about that, Zep. Do you where is your chunk of the net that you cut down?
I actually put it on the back of my hat. I had to put it on the back of my hat. I'll never wear that hat again. We got 2 hats, one white hat and one black hat, and a black shirt and a blue shirt. I never put those shirts on again ever in my life. I'm gonna frame them because it's history. It's history. I don't want to touch them no more, but I want to get 3 to 5, 3 to 7 more shirts, and I'll never touch them again. I want to get everything.
I think that's awesome, man. Yeah. Hopefully you will, and I think you will. So there was a lot of talk, Zep, after you guys won and the confetti was falling down. A lot of folks, most of the team kind of celebrated. You went off and talked to some of the big donors. What was going through your mind when you did all that?
Well, without them, some of the stuff we do, some of the stuff we get, it won't happen. And I just want to be fair. I want to be a fair player. And I've always been a humble guy. So I wanted to make sure I went over there first, and just thank them for all they do for us, and for all they do for the community. Because, it's just important in life to show the same love they show love to us. So I just, cherish those moments. I actually got a great picture of me hugging some fans and, hugging some donors. And, I'll never forget those pictures.
That's cool, man. What was kind of the mood in the locker room after you guys kind of got done cutting down nets and were able to celebrate it just as a team with all the players and coaches in there? What were some of the kind of fun conversations you were able to have?
Well, an hour after the game, an hour after we cut the nets down, we kind of was everywhere, a little bit everywhere. Yeah. But as soon as everybody got, situated, we went in the locker room. BP went in the locker room. We closed the doors, shut the doors. And he just talked about, how we was supposed to get this, how we was just preseason ranked number 5. We only had one player, preseason on a preseason team. And like I said before, he just said, they counted us out. They said Auburn wasn't going to do this, Auburn wasn't going to do that. But we did it. He just was telling us how proud he was, of us getting this one accomplishment, that we're on the road to joy. But he also talked about the SEC tourney. And, he just talked about getting well prepared. And, he was excited. And he seen the bracket. And he was just saying, payback. We see 2 teams, on our side that beat us. And one of them, is Arkansas. If we run into them, I feel like it's going to be a different game. But he always talks about we run away from no one. No one can stop our destiny. Only us can stop our destiny. So that is key, going into this SEC tourney. And, SEC tourney is going to be tough. Toughest from all this year because it's hard to beat a team twice, 3 times. But I feel like, a neutral site, we got the team to do it. We're going to win it. We're going to win it all. And like I said, it's not going to be easy, but we're going to cut those nets down, and that's going to be the joyfulest thing of my life. And, it's just going to make everyone happy. And we just want to win it with all our hearts.
Yeah, Zep, there's a very real scenario where if you guys win all 3 games that you need to win the tournament, that you will play Florida, you will play Arkansas, and there's a real chance you play Tennessee again. The 3 teams that beat you guys in the regular season. Is that something that you guys want? Do you guys kind of want to force them to say, hey, can you guys do it again?
Well, it's a tournament. It's a bracket.
Right.
We're really not forcing the issue, but we would love to get them back, especially Arkansas. Not really Florida, but Arkansas. We'd love to get them back. If we see them on the side and they win, we win. That's one for sure. We would want to play.
Right.
We would just feel like we was disrespected. They feel like, they got to win. They feel like they're better than us right now. But, if we play against them, the intensity is going to be high. The energy is going to be flowing because we feel like we got something to prove against them. Right. And we feel like we're going to beat the crap out of them when we see them again. Because from their coaching staff, their players, their fans, we just didn't tolerate the disrespectfulness they put out.
From Arkansas?
And, I see, I said, I didn't get to go on the trip, but I just see all types of stuff on the internet, this and that. And, I'm a firm believer in my coach. I'm a firm believer in what he do. And for him to get disrespect, for him to be mad on what they did, I'm going to be bad too. And I would love to see Arkansas.
Yeah, there's a good chance that you guys do. There's a good chance that happens. When do you guys head to Tampa as you and I record this Monday morning?
We'll be heading out Wednesday. Hopefully, I get to see a Wednesday game, like Georgia or somebody like that. Mm-hmm. Georgia, Mississippi State. Mississippi State or Ole Miss. And who else in that bottom bracket? Missouri. Hopefully I get to see just to see, see around and just enjoy the moment before we get to play games.
So how will you guys watch the Thursday game between Florida and Texas A&M? Of course, you guys will play the winner of that game. How will you watch that? Will you watch that just kind of as a group, or will Bruce Pearl kind of be leading that and like breaking it down and kind of forming a game plan as that game is going on? How do you anticipate that going?
Well, I think as a team, I think we want to see them play. Right. We're more interested than everybody else to see who we gonna play. It's gonna be interesting just to see who's gonna win, because we like, certain teams play certain defense, certain teams do this, certain teams do that. So it's kind of gonna be like when we in practice this week, we'll have 2 scouts, 2 teams we're gonna prepare for. We're gonna prepare for both. We're gonna prepare for 24 players, maybe 25, 26. We're gonna know everything from both teams, even though it's gonna be kind of tough. But we're just gonna get well prepared. But we're also gonna go to the game and, just take in as much as we can for the team who's gonna win.
Right. And I imagine it's easier because you've played all these teams before, and some of these teams multiple times. So I mean, you've already kind of got to be familiar with some of their roster, right?
No doubt. The roster is very familiar. Like I said, we played Florida. We played them twice. They beat us once. We beat them once. So I kind of know we're going to be, on the ropes against them, going to be coming out with high energy if we play them. Texas A&M, we're going to play them once, and that's at home. They really never really got a chance to really come back and, play with us. But, if I could imagine, I know Texas A&M don't want to run up against Auburn because the way we play defense and how ratty, how our energy is. But, You never know. It's March.
Right.
Anything can happen in March. A
Oh,
team
March
is
is
ready for
crazy.
whoever. So, like I say, no matter what team it is, we're going to come out and play Auburn basketball.
Right. The dynamic of playing at 11 o'clock on a Friday, that's a pretty unusual time to play a basketball game. But like you said, this is March, and that's the nature of it. How do you get up for for a game that early? Or is it just, it's March, you don't really need to set the table, you're going to be ready to go?
Well, we all know this. Like you said, it's March.
Yep.
The energy is going to be high. I don't care if we go to sleep at 4 or 5 o'clock, get 2 hours, 1 hour.
Right.
It ain't going to matter because we got one thing in mind, and that's to win that whole thing. I don't care who in front of that jersey. I don't care if I got 1 hour of sleep. I'm going to give it my all out there. I don't care if I got 30 minutes of sleep. My energy going to be so contagious out there. I just want to cut those nets down out there. I want to celebrate in Florida. I want to go to the beach, and I just want to do some crazy stuff I never done in life and just be super excited just to win that tournament. You know how big that'd be? Coming off a Saturday game, then you come next Sunday, and then you cut the nets on another net, and it ain't even Neville Arena.
Right.
Man, that'd be a blessing. That'd be a lifetime experience. And it's in Florida. Beautiful weather, beautiful place to be, beautiful people, beautiful fans. Man, I ain't gonna be able to stop that. That'd be a blessing.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Zep, one more thing and I'll let you go. Jabari has been incredible this past month of the season. I mean, his efficiency on offense has been maybe one of the best months Auburn has ever seen from a player. I mean, he has been awesome.
No
What are you
doubt.
expecting from him over the course of this postseason?
I'm expecting none but greatness. He shows greatness every game. I'm just expecting him to give it his all. We all know this is gonna be his last games in the Auburn uniform, without a doubt. It's just gonna show people why he's the best player in college basketball. But with him, he's gonna show passion. He's gonna show love. He's not like the rest of these players who's gonna enter the draft and just say forget it. He's gonna show you why he loved the game, why he loved his teammates, and why he wants this thing so bad to anybody else.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people who do this, and a lot of people who know they're gonna enter the draft, they know they don't care. But it just shows you how much leadership he have down this stretch. And it shows you how much of a player is gonna be. He's gonna be counted on so much down this stretch. It's just gonna be joyful to win these games and just to see everybody face in the locker room.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And just to see
absolutely.
his face and just to be so excited and for him to keep having these monster games down the stretch. Just keep going, making key shots. And that's what he lived for. That's what he wants. He wants the scouts to know that. He want these NBA players to know that. I want the last shot. We play Kentucky. We play Arkansas. 64-64. Jabari Smith, he makes it. That's what he wants.
Yeah.
He wants the crunch time. He want to make it. So I think it's going to be crucial. That was a good question to end this thing off in. And I seen this. He put a post on Instagram. And it said something like family for life.
Right.
So that's how you knew that he wasn't coming back. He cherished those moments. He cherished those fans. He'll always be Auburn man for life. So I think that's going to be what Jabari Smith is going to do for us, down this stretch.
Yeah, he's a special player. There's no question about it. Zep, congratulations once again. And hopefully when we talk this time next week, you'll have more shirts and hats and parts of a neck cut down. And I look forward to talking to you about it.
I have a shirt on, has a shirt, and I had a hat on. I should have had it on today, but
that's okay.
It's regular season. Let's get ready for SEC tournament. Appreciate you, my guy.
Love it. Thank you, Zep.
No problem.
That's Zep Jasper. Thank you so much, Zep. As always, really appreciate it. And best of luck throughout this week. We'll talk about who we think will start on the offensive line in just a moment. Today's show brought to you by Built Bar. Built Bar is the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar. It's delicious. You cannot go wrong with any flavor of Built Bar. There are a ton of flavors. When you hop over to Built.com, you see no matter what your taste preference is, Built Bar has something for you. Whether it's Built Bars themselves, they also have these Built Puffs that are delicious. Be sure to check all of it out at built.com. Use promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your order. That's promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off. That is at built.com. Also, today's show is brought to you by Stat Hero. Stat Hero's NCAA single game pick'ems. It's the star players against each other. An amazing hybrid between fantasy and sports gambling. You can take control back from the handicappers that always seem to have the advantage. This puts the power in the hands of people that actually know what's going on in the sport. Stat Hero gives you the advantage, resulting in their gamers winning 4 times more often. Why? Because Stat Hero eliminates the mystery about who or what you're going up against. Stat Hero is the easiest and fastest way to get your sports action fix. This is what daily fantasy is meant to be. So sign up for free right now at stathero.com/lockedon and use promo code LOCKEDON for a 100% deposit match. That is stathero.com/lockedon. Use promo code LOCKEDON. All right, time now for a little Charlie Tuesday as Auburn message board legend Charlie 5 joined us. And man, I've been wanting to talk about the offensive line, but it kind of intimidates me a little bit because there's a lot of questions, but at the same time, like there's a very high chance that there's not a whole lot of differences from what happened last year.
Exactly.
And I don't think anybody really wants that to be the case, but you look at it, it's like there's not a whole lot of wiggle room as far as what they're able to do, especially going into spring. You know, maybe if they get some guys after spring, which we're all kind of expecting and hoping for, I think. But I thought it'd be fun to kind of go position by position down the offensive line as far as who we think is going to be the guy at each of those spots. I imagine everyone is going to agree on the middle 3. Right.
I think so. Yeah. They're all back and they all played, fairly decent at times last year. So I don't think there's anybody that's really going to argue you there.
Yeah. So Auburn's got 4 super seniors.
Yep.
With Brandon Council, Austin Troxell, Nick Brahms, and Alec Jackson, which that's an interesting name. And then obviously Tayshawn Manning entered the portal. So those are the older guys that are leaving. But your interior guys, you got to think Nick Brahms will be the starting center. He's been starting at center for Auburn since like the 1980s, it feels like. But then Brandon Council is going to be to the left, and Keandre Jones is going to be to the right. I mean, that's what you're looking at, right?
That is it. And you got Keandre Jones probably going to be your best returning offensive lineman, and he should continue to get better. He'll be a junior next year, so he should be a pretty good force right there in the middle. And then, like you said, Nick Brahms, they wouldn't have asked him back if they didn't feel like they wanted him to play and play immediately and start. So you got Brahms, and then Council. He's the only player that's played 4 years after grad transferring. I think it's amazing. But we love him, and he's going to be there and hopefully healthy. So your interior, there's a lot of value there. There's a lot of value there when in the interior, I feel like, and good to have them all healthy and ready to go for spring.
Yeah, and I think with what Harsin's going to do, and we'll probably see more under center if Brian Harsin's really controlling the offense.
Yeah.
So you need that push. You need that push in the interior. They were much better in pass protection than run blocking. And so I don't know if that push was really there as consistent as they would have liked last year, but maybe they take that step. We'll have to see. And look, we saw the drop off at center when Nick Brahms was not in the game against Houston in the Birmingham Bowl. No disrespect to anybody else, but there was a drop off there. And maybe there's something there. And it looks like, maybe the future of that position will be okay with some guys kind of starting to get into the system. But the tackles are interesting to me because you got to think Troxell will be one of them.
Yep.
Assuming he can stay healthy. As many games as he's able to stay healthy for, you got to think he will be at one of those. He's kind of, I have him written down as a starting left tackle right now. Yeah. What side would you put him on?
So I think naturally he's more of a right tackle than a left tackle.
Natural right tackle.
He's a natural right tackle.
Okay.
So I mean, just from what I've seen the chatter on message boards and people talking, I think Austin is going to be your right tackle, and then Zaire is probably going to they're going to try to get him in there as your left tackle. And then you still got Brendan Coffey, who could probably swing to either side, probably favor the right side, and just run it that way. And then you still got young guys like Colby Smith, who's turned a lot of heads. And then there's Gardner Langlow. I mean, he's kind of more of an inside guy, but he could possibly, he's long. He could possibly bounce outside. But yeah, I think I think Austin is a better prospect on the right side, and Zaire played fairly decent the few times, a little bit that he got in there last year. So he's also a JUCO grad that's been here for a while. So hopefully he can take that next step.
There's a lot of excitement when those two guys came in at the same time. Yeah. They were both like top 5 JUCO tackles when they committed in that class. And I thought it would be an instant impact level of addition to this roster, and it hasn't been. And I thought they had a chance to win a job last year, and it seemed like they gave Zaire a chance to win it over Troxel.
Yeah.
And it just, for whatever reason, didn't happen.
Zaire, he had that injury. He came in and had that injury earlier that set him back, and he hasn't been playing football for very long anyway. So any additional setback just hurt that much longer. But we were both kind of Brendan Coffey truthers. He had time. He had to put on some weight because he's a mountain, but he was a very lean 275-ish. So he's had to come in and beef up. But he's also very athletic. So there's guys that have talent that if they're put in the right places and the scheme is right, they can be pretty productive, I guess.
What do you think of the mindset of this group? I mean, because that was a big part of it with me last year watching this team. Is I thought Harsin would make these dudes more mean.
Yeah,
and that wasn't really the case. When Auburn played teams that were as good as them or better, they got pushed around on the offensive front and really the defensive front. And I think that had to do more with attitude than actual skill. Because I think these dudes are talented and athletic, like you said. I think it's more of a, we got to figure out how to get more mean up front.
Yeah. A lot of people want to talk about the, changing offensive philosophies and are they thinking versus reacting? But at some point in time, you just got to line up and beat the dude in front of you. And we did seem to be a little bit weak at the point of attack, especially those short yardage positions or short yardage situations. But they got to get better there. They got to get meaner, stronger, but maybe there is something a little bit to playing a different style of offense where it's more quick off the ball versus running a lot of zone type blocking schemes where it's letting the back slow developing, let the back kind of find the hole, and you're just sort of blocking an area versus a man. And I don't know. It's just a lot of times you always think one more year means one more year better, but I don't think that's always the case. But I think
that probably becomes more of a thing. Like the younger you are, it's like freshman to sophomore year. I think it's a big deal. Sophomore to junior, you mentioned that with Keandre. Like maybe that's a big deal.
What about senior to super senior?
There's not a whole lot of evidence of that.
Yeah.
So maybe that's an exception, but I'm not holding my breath for it.
Yeah, but at the same time, it can't be a bad thing to have.
No, it can't.
Like all these guys returning that have played beside each other. It's hard to like pinpoint how it can be a bad thing unless you just say that they're going to put the exact same output. And I'm not sure I totally 100% buy that either.
I think even if they were the same, I mean, you need improvements in other areas of the offense as well.
Yes.
So
1,000%.
Was it all on offensive line play? I don't know if I'm buying that. I know that's the easiest thing to do. I know that's the easiest thing to say. And I'm not going to say you're wrong if you say it.
Yeah, there's an argument there.
Yeah, for sure.
As far as the portal goes, like I think pretty much the starting lineup is already on the team. I'm not sure that there's going to be that rock star guy. I I'm not sure that guy's going to be there. I think if we add anybody, it'll be some younger guys that may have some promise that can come in and develop. I'm not sure at this point of the portal that there's going to be that just instant impact left tackle. And there could be, but you know what's going to happen? Everybody's going to go after him. So
yeah, if there's a hot shot instant starter at one of the tackle spots, I'm not convinced, based on what we've seen, I'm not convinced Auburn will be able to land him right now.
I'm not either. But you know what? You got to start winning some of those. You got to start if you want to have success now, which I think Harsin desperately needs. When there are those opportunities, you got to start winning them. You got to start winning them. So I'm not expecting that. I'm expecting, we'll bring in some maybe redshirt freshmen or redshirt sophomore guys with promise, with good size, maybe highly recruited out of high school, maybe even some local-ish kids. That kind of seems to be the theme. That's probably the route we're going to go, because I just, at this point in time, I just don't know how you can add anybody out of the portal right now that can come in and be better than, I guess what we already have, if that makes sense.
Hey, what do you think about the Jeremiah Wright situation?
It's strange. I want him to stay on defense.
I do too. He was really having a great spring last year and he got hurt.
But he's super, we talked about it being mean, being aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely has that to be able to go over to the other side and turn as many heads as he did. Right. So if he could come and push for some, an interior spot, I would welcome it. I just kind of want him. I kind of want him on the defensive side, especially since we lost, some defensive linemen. Just have him in there to back up. Or heck, he could probably still start at nose tackle. So I would like him to stay on defense, but it's never a bad thing to welcome another body into the offensive line room.
Was it bowl practice where he was getting reps on the O-line?
Yeah, he was. He was getting reps on the offensive line in bowl practice.
All right.
One of the guard positions, I think.
I have an important question for Charlie 5 coming up right here on Locked On Auburn. Look at this Charlie Tuesday in just a moment, but March Madness, it's here, folks. It is here. Last night I was watching the Sun Belt Championship because this is March, and there are tournament bids on the line. And so, look, if you're listening to the show, you're probably doing your research and kind of watching this championship week to see who's going to get into the tournament to get more info about these teams. And look, just like you're doing research on these teams, we've already done the research regarding where you need to run your bracket pools over the next month. The answer is runyourpool.com. They're the best. They provide so many different options regarding scoring and different customizable features that you're not going to find at places like ESPN and CBS. Run Your Pool. It's worth it. Check it out. And look, we're running our brackets there. Runyourpool.com/lockedon. You can be a part of the action. And we're going to be giving away cash prizes. Yeah, put your money where your mouth is, folks. And you check it out. Runyourpool.com/lockedon. While you're there, create your own pool for your friends and family. They're Pure Madness checkout for $10 off your custom pool. At runyourpool.com/lockedon. Also, today's show brought to you by Rock Auto. With the ever-increasing numbers of makes and models, it's now impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts you need for your car, truck, or SUV. So just why go into the store and they're just going to order the part for you? You can just do it from your phone or your computer, wherever you can access rockauto.com. Skip the middleman. It'll save you money. RockAuto.com. Go there right now and see all the parts available for your car, truck, or SUV. Please write Locked On Auburn in there. How did you hear about us box? So they know that we sent you. Amazing selection, reliable low prices, and all the parts your car will ever need. That's at RockAuto.com. All right, Charlie 5, we got a few minutes left with you, and really appreciate your time as always. But last year, and maybe even the year before that, there was a growing, I'm going to call it a movement. That Kobe Hudson was a natural wide receiver. And I think it's important that we have this conversation between you and I, but also the folks watching on YouTube as well. If you're listening in audio form, hit us up on the Discord. We'll put the link in the audio in the episode description down below. Reach out to us on Twitter, whatever it may be. We need your voice to be heard. And I think this is an important question. Since Kobe Hudson left and is no longer our national wide receiver anymore, do we need to claim or tie that title to another Auburn wide receiver?
I say absolutely yes, and let me tell you why. Number one, why? Because if Kobe would have been a 1,000-yard rock star guy, I would say, you know what? Let's just let it lie. He earned that, but although he was a good option, I just feel like that title's still up to be earned. I feel like you can go out, that is still somebody can go out and earn the natural wide receiver, and I don't think Kobe did anything to make it permanently his title. So I think it's still up for grabs. It's a thing, and we're going to keep making it a thing. And I say let it roll. Let's keep doing it.
Early candidates for natural wide receiver in your mind, and I say who we give it to whoever is the hottest coming out of spring.
Oh yeah,
not Shed Jackson. Love you, Shed, but I don't think you're a natural wide receiver. I think you're good, but I don't think you're a natural wide receiver. I think you can make the argument for Malcolm Johnson Jr.
Yep.
I think you can make that argument. Zevion Capers, maybe. Let's see what happens this spring. I'm not super fired up about that one. I do think Capers will be a big part of this offense, though.
Yeah.
AJ Evans, not going to lie. I kind of forget about him all the time.
Yeah. Not sure that he's real.
Yeah. We'll see. I hope he is. He certainly seems talented.
I do too. You just never hear about him, but yeah, he was good. He was really good in high school, and he's big.
The next two names I'm going to read are the two guys that I think are the leader right now to be Auburn's next natural wide receiver.
Yeah.
And they're both freshmen. Tavares Dawson of the redshirt freshman variety, or Jay Fair.
Okay.
Those are the two that I'm leaning towards right now. And of course, we got Amari Kelly and Camden Brown as well. But those are the two that I'm kind of leaning towards possibly being Auburn's next natural wide receiver. What are your thoughts?
I think both of those are great candidates. I think Tavares showed that he is 100% a deep threat in the bowl game. The very few times that he got to be on the field, he dusted his guy 3 or 4 times, and if we could have just hit on one, we win the ball game, but we couldn't. So that's something I feel like we've been missing, is just like a real, number one, being able to hit a deep ball, and then a guy that can take the top off. So that's big. I think he could definitely be that guy. And my leading candidate though, who we're still in limbo. We're not really sure. I don't even know if I can technically call him a leading candidate, because I don't know that he's pulled his name all the way out of the portal yet. But Javarius Johnson, to me, is the guy that is the most complete, other than size. He is a small guy, but as far as route running, speed, playmaking ability, electricity, I think he's the guy that could be the natural moving forward, if he does in fact come back, like all signs kind of point that he's going to, he's still enrolled, and I think he's with the team to start spring practice. So if he's there and he makes it through spring, I think he's my leading candidate to be the natural.
Yeah. Look, if you're out there watching or listening to this, your input on this topic is extremely valuable and extremely important.
I feel like we're going to get roasted.
I mean, the focus and having fun thing, as I'm wearing the shirt right now.
Yeah.
That was a great meme, and it was the biggest meme from the Auburn football season. But the longest running meme was Kobe Hudson being a natural wide receiver. And so I just think that's something.
I say keep it going. I really do. And I will disagree with anybody that disagrees.
How passionate are you about this? Would you fight someone if they argued with you?
I would fight you to the death.
Fight
you to the death if you disagree with me.
All right.
I'm that passionate.
I love it. How can people find you, hear you, support you, all that good stuff, brother?
Absolutely, man. Find me on Twitter, _Charlie_5, auburnlive.com, the corner message board, in the Locked On Auburn Discord, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday on the Dad Bod Golf Pod. Let's go. We will be back tomorrow right here on Locked On Auburn.